welcome to Two and a Half Philosophers. I'm Arnav, and I'm here with two other philosophers, one of them being Fraser.
Hi, I'm Fraser. I am one of the philosophers, and our other philosopher is Will.
Hi, I'm Will. I'm the last philosopher.
Okay, so for the first episode, we thought we'd talk about why we're here in the first place. Why have we made the podcast? Basically, we are three people interested in philosophy, so we thought, why not make a little podcast where we can discuss our thoughts on philosophy and a variety of other topics. Any other thoughts, guys?
Yeah, it was actually you who made the Discord server, the YouTube channel. You actually did everything in one night, didn't you?
Well, like me and Arnav, we banded together, we made a bit of a banner, an icon, and we thought, why not make it into a Discord server to film it?
And I'm here too, I guess.
Will's
Yeah,
probably,
Will was not paid.
he's had the back seat for a bit of it, but look, he's here now. That's the important part.
Too much. But with the banner that we were just talking about, would you know walk us through how you created it, Fraser?
Yeah, so I thought, why don't we make a little bespoke banner? We'd, tailor it to our personalities. So we've got on the left, we've got what is meant to be Arnav Bhattacharya, with his little yellow aura behind him. He's got his short stature, his thin build.
Maybe not.
I think he's a pretty short person. And then on the middle
5'5", you are short.
Yeah, look, you're the shortest out of the three of us. Okay?
94 inches for a questionable reason. But
Right. Okay. And in the middle, in the middle chair, the most important chair, is Fraser, notably the widest of the three of us. His belly hanging out of the shirt because, it's a stereotype, it's a characteristic.
Refer to yourself in like the third person.
Look, you gotta be proud, okay?
yeah,
And then in the third seat, on the right, taller than the rest of us by a country mile, is Will, with his brain half exposed and bleeding, just to indicate, the level of takes that Will likes to give out.
it's quite accurate, actually, to reality. I see this quite often.
I'd just like to point out that I'm not tall because I'm physically new. My shoulders are about the same height as everyone else's. It's just my neck is really long.
It's got a bit of a giraffe neck, but I mean...
I don't have a giraffe neck in real life, I promise.
Some would debate that, but look, the point of it is, maybe it isn't perfectly accurate of us each in real life, but it helps to accentuate the key physical characteristics of us. That's a bit of a background behind the banner, and hopefully, in not very long, there might be a new icon made by one of the philosophers.
It will be Will.
So
It will be you.
It will be me.
Will be Will, but in the future, hopefully there might be a better quality of artwork, shall we say?
I meant to do it yesterday, but then I didn't.
Well,
So
that is
So maybe it will take longer. But
yeah, exactly. I mean, Will isn't known for being the most hard-working individual, shall we say?
just uncalled for.
Might take a
It's
while.
so unnecessary.
Okay, I'm going to hand it to Will to tell us and the audience what makes us philosophers.
Well, we're very wise.
you have a really good idea of why philosophers don't even.
Of course I do. It's because we're very wise and we make all sorts of very accurate statements about the nature of the world.
I would say one of us is very wise. I don't know.
Which one of us is that? Which one of us is the wise one?
It's a hard one. I think it's... No, you find out. You know. I don't need to tell you.
Well, I'd say the wise one of us is definitely me. Obviously.
There's no bias involved there, yeah?
Yep.
Look, we can all be privy to our own beliefs on who's the wisest, but I think at least me and Arnav can come and we can concur that Will certainly is not the wisest of the three of us.
Yes, I can definitely say that.
Yeah, okay. Well,
This is mean.
what makes us philosophers? I mean, we've all got an interest in the subject. Of course, two of us are studying it, which makes us fully fledged philosophers, and the other isn't doing that, so he only is classed as half a philosopher. We'll let you figure out who that is, but... Oh yeah, sure, it's me and Arnav, definitely me and Arnav. But with philosophers,
Right.
we have a curiosity. We're keen, little yearning young men. So yeah, we're philosophers. Now, the reason behind the name, we sort of elucidated that because two of us are studying it, we're classed as proper philosophers, whereas the other isn't even qualified to be classed as a full philosopher. Arnav, do you want to talk a little bit about why one of us, isn't really proper?
Yeah, so actually, if you look on the banner, one of us is missing a part of their skull, which probably means that they have less intellect and don't form fully deductive or reasonable arguments. So that's probably why it is half, because his thinking process is actually decently impaired. Some might say. I wouldn't.
What?
That is a joke.
Well, is it a joke?
Probably.
I'd say if we look at our grades, especially in philosophy, I think it actually does bear across these, this half
There's
stature.
quite a correlation.
Is this why you actually made the podcast, so you could make fun of me the whole time?
No, I mean,
I think it comes naturally.
yeah, I think that's just any conversation involving will just naturally will involve some sort of hating. It's like that law in online debate that there's a certain amount of time before Hitler's mentioned. It's like that, but for us, it's how long until we mention Will's, ineptness at doing essays. But I mean, Will's steel manning of rule utilitarianism is probably for another day. I'm sure he'll have a couple rage moments about that one. Just one.
You might explain.
Yeah, you know what?
explain,
Yeah, should we get into it? So basically, we had to do an essay in one of our lessons, and we had to talk about act and rule utilitarianism. Now, me and Will find ourselves as proponents of act utilitarianism, but for some reason unknown to me, he seems to claim that it was, I didn't have good enough arguments, but I think, secretly inside his brain there's a part of the subconscious mind that makes him choose this. But basically, I, true to my values, chose to steelman the act utilitarian viewpoint, whereas Mr. Conniving Will chose to steelman the rule utilitarian standpoint. Do you want to explain the reasoning behind that, Will?
I mean, I don't really have a reason. It just kind of happened,
See,
to be honest.
That sounds like a guilty man. It's surely a man that was
Guilty.
like
It's quite good.
he does sound guilty. But basically, because of that, he's not really classed as an honest person. And he seems to, have a bit of outrage whenever we mention this. He needs to, remind us that it was just for the marks, guys. It was just for the marks, nothing else.
It was for the marks.
It was just for the marks. Well,
You might explain to the audience what utilitarianism is actually, because I don't imagine most would know.
okay. Well, I'll hand it to Will, and we'll see what he can get out with.
Well, you see, utilitarianism is an ethical theory which states that the moral action is whichever action brings about the greatest good for the greatest number of people. It was founded by a man called Jeremy Bentham some 300 years ago, and then expounded upon by John Stuart Mill into rule utilitarianism, which we all hate because it's terrible.
Maybe
Doing
the
that. Okay, I can get behind that statement from Will. Basically, utilitarianism, as he says, it's an ethical, normative theory, to use the correct terminology.
This is what I said.
Yeah. But basically, we follow the principle of utility, which means we do the things that create the most happiness and demote the most suffering. So at the end of the day, our positions, they should be the same, but our positions that we steelmanned are pretty similar. There's just a few minor differences that cause a bit of infighting, But that's just a bit behind utilitarianism. I'm sure we'll have some more debates on that in the future. That's a pretty key part of at least the philosophy A-level course, but also historical philosophy. Now, we've got a thought for future episodes involving potentially a fourth member of the cast. It would be rotating, so I'll pass on to Arnav to talk a bit about that.
So, if you didn't know already, we are not adults. So we actually go to school and we still have people who we talk to often.
Wow.
These people,
I think adults have those as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I would say we probably have a bit more compared to the average adult, since they're in.
Well, we being me and I don't know about Will, but me and I have a list. Yeah.
It's very true. But because of that, maybe in future episodes, we're thinking to invite one of them on, depending on if they want to come, obviously. And then we'll talk to them about anything. Just how they'll be. We have some very interesting people that we can invite on that we already know of.
I mean, there are certainly, a wide variety of interesting characters, shall we say. Some that, believe in esoteric and maybe unjustified positions that we could, have a little go at breaking down. But I'm sure as we venture further into the episode count, we can bring some others on and interrogate them a bit. Well,
yeah,
I think for episode 0, for the intro, I think we've done pretty well. We've sort of covered the main premise of the podcast, and I'm sure in the next week or so we might come up with a proper episode 1 where we actually talk about philosophy.
or just anything.
Yeah, or just whatever's in the mind of the cast. But I'll say goodbye and thank you for listening, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
All right, bye bye.
It's been very well.
Good chats.
Hi everyone, this is Editing Will here. Just like to apologise for how terrible all of our voices sound in today's episode. We should all sound much better in the next one, which will be coming out probably sometime next week, over the weekend. But till then, bye!